Hello everyone. I think we're ready for our newest Twitch stream. As you can see, today we have Flips and Sergey on the couch. Both are ready to answer your questions and give you a little overview of the country designs and how they are faring so far. Gentlemen, do you want to take over, or
Yes.
is there anything I need to let our players know today?
No, I think we're ready to go.
Awesome.
If I maybe get the presentation to behave as I intended it to. Which it doesn't right now.
Right.
So yeah, hello everybody. I'm the Flips. You've seen me behind the camera. Now I'm no longer behind the camera. And you know Sergey.
Yeah, everybody
Sergey has
wants
been
glory.
here.
I've been here for like a lot of time. I think I'm wondering if I'm starting to be boring, but that's all you get, guys. Sorry.
Okay.
Well, we can try and invite a couple of other people for the next time.
What
Maybe-
people? Come on.
What?
We need more people
Yeah,
here.
more
I agree.
people.
I think if we basically trick them into saying that this is going to be a meeting or a brainstorm and then switch cameras suddenly, maybe that will work.
Yeah, I mean that's like the only way we can get them to do anything. Okay, looks like I've tamed the presentation. I just have to get it full screen again and then we can have a look at it.
Just to give you an idea of what's happening now, we wanted to show you a very quick slide about how different country flag designs are popular currently. And obviously we are just like several days in the big Euro fever, and our Space Cup event is only kind of like starting, but we already have some preliminary results which are very curious.
Yes.
For me at least.
So now we're ready to go. Jörg, if you could switch to the 16:9 version. There we go. Wonderful. So yeah, you can see our top performers, so to say, here. And Turkey is big in the league with 28% right now.
So that basically means that 28% of all flagships that were acquired by our players were a Turkey flag.
Yes.
And the second place is Germany, and the third place is Sweden.
Just
Amazing.
surprising,
Yeah,
actually.
for me, I wasn't expecting that. I was hoping for, but never mind. Still, it's
Barely beat Russia, yeah.
yeah, well, it's just like, yeah, it's amazing how different flagships kind of like perform. And I also wanted to say that we heard some people had had troubles picking the flag design because their country wasn't in the championship, but they wanted some cool flag, and they were like, what flag should I choose? Iceland looked kind of cool and something like that. And it
Yeah.
will be very interesting to see how things develop, like which countries would be on the top of this list by the end of the championship.
But yeah, Turkey's in a big lead right now, and if you're not first, you're losing. So you know, if you want your country to be up here,
Yeah.
you gotta keep pushing. So yeah, we have Iceland in the 4th place and France in the 6th. And to be honest, it's kind of like accruing big percentages when there's 24 different ships is a
Yeah.
little hard. Like if we go to the next thing, you see that most of them have 3% because all of them kind of equal out now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but that
so-
still is a certain kind of race between different ships and different flag designs.
Yeah. And I think they're all pretty amazing. Like each of them looks very shiny and very fancy now in the 3D.
Our
mode.
artists did amazing job, I must say, and we are very, very happy with this. And as I said, like I think if we see very, very big demand, we might consider adding some more country flags into this, so that, well, most of the players can have their own flagship design for occasions like this, and for, I don't know, DarkOrbit special celebrations and
Yeah.
whatever.
Exactly. So here we go into the 2% range, basically. These are all about equal. percentage-wise and in the real numbers. But yeah, I don't know. I just think they're all so pretty.
Yeah, interestingly, it doesn't reflect the amount of players we have in specific country. It doesn't reflect the country size. It's just, that's how it is, and it's just, for us it's amazing because we were expecting that the distribution would be slightly more close to how big is the country or how many players from that country do we have.
Yeah.
Can someone tell me why we don't have a Dutch flag there?
Because Dutch team is not on in Euro Cup. That's very simple.
Oh, I must have missed that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, right. Just rub
It's
it
like
in.
several times it was mentioned on Discord, and that's just, it's
So rude.
yeah, it's not very polite to mention that again.
Do we then plan to add a couple of more flags to that list at some point? Do you
Well,
know that?
as I said, when this event wraps up, we will be looking at the complete stats of like how this things worked for us and how popular it is with the players and how interesting it is to acquire like specific country flag, because we also have to think if only like, I don't know, 9 people would go in and buy a specific country flag, it might be not worth the effort to actually do that. But as I said, we will gather statistics and we'll see. As we have seen, the size of the country, of the size of the specific country player base doesn't really determine the popularity of a certain flag. And I can also imagine that some of the flags were bought by people who were like, yeah, well, I like Iceland flag just because it looks awesome on the ship and that's why I buy it. But nevertheless.
Definitely. I think actually that flags that have like little emblems on them have an unfair advantage because they just look prettier because they have logos on the sides. Like if you look at Croatia or Northern Ireland, they're just
Well,
they're
the
very
Wales
pretty.
dragon also looks pretty amazing.
Definitely.
The one part that I wanted to mention is that we, unfortunately, these emblems or these special symbols are too complex, so we couldn't put it on the bigger surface. That was something that we also discussed on Discord. We were experimenting with that, but it turned out that the best place to put the specific emblem or a specific kind of like symbol that is a complex in shape and complex in color is the Goliath wings, basically. So that's what it is. That's how it is.
Yeah, and that's basically the complete list of the designs we have available. There we go. Yeah. So yeah.
In general, we are very happy with the amount of fun is kind of like coming from this events and from these designs, and we're looking forward to see how things will develop as the event goes forward and as the actual championship goes forward. Maybe somebody will decide to go for half semi-finalist flags, or I don't know, something
maybe.
like that.
I expect the winner to do pretty well.
Yeah,
So we'll
maybe
see.
somebody. Many people will pretend they're from that country if that country wins.
Well,
Definitely.
I noted that there was a question today if we could, well, maybe wrap it up and give it and make a whole package of ships, of designs. I mean,
All the country ships in one
all
pack.
the country ships. Yes.
It's something that we could. Yeah, we will look into that.
It is technically possible.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on the amount of effort, or like rather on the amount of time we have available. But since that idea is kind of like flying around, we could look into that. Unfortunately, we also we'll have to see how exactly can we combine that, because we don't have the function that would make a dynamic package that say, I don't know, you have 3 of these 10 flag designs, therefore like you don't get them again. But anyway, like that's something that is a valid point, and we'll look into that in the upcoming weeks.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, I mean, why not? We are also we are always happy to provide more options to people who want to collect stuff.
All right. Well then, let's look into the questions, as this is a Q&A session today. So let's just start from the top. Are the problems with the new chat known, or do you work on it already? New chat.
I can't really, like, yes, they are known, and yes, we are working on it already. It's not like either or, it's more like yes. We had, as I believe I've said, and we also had our quality manager here with us, Anamika, and we discussed a bit about how the bug process looks like. And basically, the day before yesterday, on Monday, we had a standard like a bug triage procedure where we look at everything that we know of was reported from the live instances and so on. And there was a big number of problems that were reported, and they are all basically now kind of like combined in a package which we are trying to deal with. The chat is a bit complex because as we are part of a family of games in Big Point, some of the things like chat are taken care of by not entirely by us, but we are looking into that, and we'll try to deal with it as fast as possible.
Yeah, that's basically all there is to it. The chat system is not directly in our game team, and therefore the amount of control we have over it is limited, but we're always pushing if issues are coming up. Alright, I
also was curious if
Can you show the new ships if possible? Sneak peek maybe. Yes, of course. If you've been following our Facebook pages, you've already seen the new ships. So Jörg, if you can put the presentation thingy on once again, I have the Facebook post up there. So this is Mimesis, our new recon ship.
Well, it's more like a trickster ship. So the idea for this ship is that it is a mobile hunter-seeker that will allow you to, I don't know, get closer to the enemy, try to hit it, then run away, and so on. It's not particularly, like, it's not a formidable foe, or it's not like a tanky ship. It's more like, a harassment thing and something like a hit-and-run tactic thing. That's the basic idea. These ships are currently in QA, so we would show them in action if we were sure that nothing unexpected would happen.
Yeah.
So, but you can expect that at some point in the future, like rather soon, they will be available on test instances, as we said, and you will be able to look into them, and we'll see if we have an open beta. We can even look into something like I don't know, extraordinary Twitch stream, just because of that stuff.
Just to show them off.
Yeah.
I can see if we've posted the Tartarus.
I think there is it. If you will just
go away. Yeah, there we go.
This one. Yeah. So the Tartarus ship is another thing. It's more formidable, more like heavy ship with emphasis on rocket launchers, and it's basically is a ship that, as you can see, has a very special interaction with the drones, which are, if they are equipped with specific designs. In this case, it's Phantom, and the pet would be the Chimera, I think, and that's something that we are looking forward to show off as well. And that's something that would be unique. We have never done anything like that. There will be a whole set of, like, if you have a pet design, drone design, and ship, it will do something special for you. Not in terms of like advantages in gameplay, but more like it will be spectacular.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to them. They look amazing. I've seen some of the work that our animators and our artists have been doing, and they're just the coolest thing that we have, or that we will have in the game, I guess.
Well, I guess a little just adding to hype is like, we are excited about this stuff. We can imagine how everybody on the other side of the camera is excited about this particular thing, about the new ships, and we're really looking forward to expose them. We just want to make sure that all things go as planned, and so yeah, whenever we are ready to give you the exact date, and as I said, it's going to happen really soon, so don't forget to follow our Twitch streams, Discord channels, Twitter,
whatever.
Facebook, whatever. you will see the announcement first if you are following our social media channels.
Yes. So I guess the real question is Team Mimesis or Team Tartarus?
Well, yeah, whatever you choose, because like for me personally, I would prefer a trickier ship which has more kind of like jokers up the sleeve, but it's more fragile and a bit more hard to control. So
Yeah.
it's just a kind of like my thing, because I really hate to be slow and powerful. I don't know why, but
Yes, I get that. I mean, I'm also definitely Team Mimesis. It's all of the cool abilities. They're gonna be so cool.
yeah.
But yeah, chat, let us know. Team Mimesis or Team Tartarus. Team Goliath is not on the poll. Doesn't work like this, people. Okay, cool. So there you go. We'll just let this.
Well, I guess people were I understand that everybody was expecting that we will show them in action, and we would really like to do that once we are sure that everything in this presentation goes according to plan. Because
Yeah.
we had an internal presentation like a couple of days ago, and there were some things that were like, oh, we need to fix this. And as it's being QA'd and fixed right now, we just want to make sure that we are not showing something that, I don't know, doesn't work, doesn't sound as impressive as we make it sound. So
Yes. All right. So let's continue on. Are you working on the transfer between the Surgeon and other Goliath ships?
yes,
Yes.
we have a upgrade to the whole transfer system now in kind of like in the pipeline. And we recently as well, like we recently had a kind of like a planning meeting where we had several improvements to various parts like this. This is one of the top things that is coming, and as again we've said earlier, until we have a better timeline, we would not generally share the dates when stuff is happening or when it's coming. But once we know for sure that it's coming on this specific day, everybody will be updated. It's just like follow us everywhere you can, read forums, go on Discord. You will know first when it's
Yes.
happening.
Definitely. Next up. Okay, this is the same question over and over.
What is that question? Give us Uridium.
I wish that were no. I mean that would be an easy question.
The
No, the
answer
question
would be
is
no.
the price of the new drone designs, will that be reduced?
I guess what we are talking about here is the newest one, the Champion.
Possible.
Okay, let's generalize. So as you have seen in the past, we are trying to make sure that there is a certain period of exclusivity, if you will. There is a certain period when a new cosmetic thing basically goes online, where we when people who really want it can have it first, and afterwards we basically look at how it performs and how many people buy it and how many people would like to buy it but say, oh, it may be too expensive, and so on. As with all the things similar, like with all the things like that, like, you don't know, there is a new model of a phone coming on or something like that, we will be looking into something like, if we release a new thing, then maybe something that is not as new and as shiny will get some kind of like a discount or something like that. So what I can say, that I cannot say that no prices for new cosmetic things will be changed in the future. I can say that we want to make sure that people who have the ability and they desire something to have that first, they have that ability, and then we want to make sure that once the exclusivity period has finished, and once people have enjoyed having something first and on top of everyone else, then we'll look into like, okay, yeah, can we now make it more accessible? Because there is another new thing coming in that some like specific collectors would want to have first, and then there will be a period when something that like that goes on sale, and then people who really wanted it but couldn't afford it or didn't want to pay that much could also afford it. So think of, I don't know, anything like Steam sales or something like that, there will be a period when stuff that is shiny and new now will be not as new at some point, and then we'll consider, okay, maybe we should discount it, because now some people who are not is like, we want to be first, but some people who really want this particular thing because they like it can also can afford to have it. So that's basically the plan behind it.
Also, Terror the Legend will talk about whatever topic we damn please, young man, okay?
What? Okay.
He'll know.
Hi, by the way. Well, great that you're with us.
Yes. So, we have another question. Is it possible to make 4-4 a cross-server map during Spaceball?
Theoretically, there is nothing impossible because we are in IT sector. It just depends on the amount of development and infrastructure that is required. I will say that we are looking into like we have discussed this topic like sometime in the past, and I must say that we have recently made certain advancements. So we have looked at the specifically like cross-server battleground concept and the system that would allow us to do something like that. It meant to be a system that would allow us to expose or put in the controlled closed environments where you have a special map. There are teams that are competing under certain rules, and then somebody wins and they get rewards, and that happens like across multiple servers. That's something that we have just kind of like discussed today in more detail inside the team. The cross-server zones, like simple maps that could be cross-server at certain times or under certain conditions, or even like specific maps. That's something that is kind of like coming up next. And like theoretically, this is not a bad idea, doing that for specific event like Spaceball. Thanks for that, actually, for the tip, because it might make sense. I can't, again, like, I like it. We will discuss it, and that's something that can come up further as, like, here's what we plan to do. But so far, we are more in the area of cross-server zones and stuff like that. We are more like in the phase where we collect ideas, where we discuss how exactly we do this, for which conditions, do we even want to do this? Maybe it is too complex for the amount of like for the effect that we'll get out of this. So, but in general, cool. Thanks for the idea. We have it on our list. Yes.
We're kind of in a stage where we're planning everything as cool and shiny as possible, and then once we get into the actual development, like we'll have
as we have discussed, this is a very complex topic. Like, and you might go back to our Twitch number. I don't remember actually what number was that, but one of the first ones, maybe 3 or 2 or 4 or something like that. You can go back to that and rewatch, because there we broke down the amount of considerations that is coming into each of these kind of like areas. And that's why we are now in the stage where we want to determine which specific things would give us the best return, like which will have the most impact on the I don't know, the engagement, on the amount of fun people have, because that's the most important part in all this topic. We are looking for a way to bring back some of the fun that people are missing, or introduce more kinds of fun that people can have in DarkOrbit with this solution. And we want to make sure that the problem, which is like, oh, I don't have enough players to play with, is fixed. As I said, there are many ways to fix it. We're just picking the best.
All right, going on. No, I lost the question. There are so many. You people are very interested in
Stuff.
a lot of things, which is good.
But
we're trying to sort through the list, and you could also answer the already compiled list of questions.
Yes, that's what we're doing.
But
there are so many.
Quick tip: you could also join us, as I said before, and you could also join us on Discord. There, we answer questions in a more kind of like online fashion. It might be that the answers are shorter, but there is a chance of kind of like throwing in a specific question that we didn't cover on Twitch and stuff like that. So yeah, feel free to check that out.
Do come. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
There's cookies sometimes. Okay, so here we go. What is your opinion on making DarkOrbit less pay to win by adding skins like the flag designs for money and sell the actual ship with the bonus for little Uridium?
Well, our opinion is awesome. If that works and if that replaces everything else, yeah, that's why I think we have been arguing about this for quite a long time, that we would like to make sure that we are exploring that possibility. And with all the new things that we are doing, with, okay, you have more ships now, all of them can have specific color designs, then now there are flagship designs, there is something else that is coming, might be coming in the future, but I would say that we are actively going forward in that direction. What I also would like to stress is that I hope everybody realizes that we as a team and every this project and all the projects like that all over the world, they really depend on people coming in and choosing to, I don't know, pay for something, because that's what makes us moving, that's what basically helps us to maintain the infrastructure we need and so on, to maintain the team we need and so on. And I guess you have already learned that we have expanded some of the, we have more designers on the team now and so on. We are basically looking for development of the game further, going into the future and so on. We would like to see the cosmetic stuff that we are providing or were providing throughout this year to be even more popular, because the more popular it gets, the easier it is for us to go and say, okay, we don't have to do this specific thing anymore, or we can change that system that works in a certain way that basically incentivizes pay users to pay money and so on. But we need to understand, what we all need to understand is unfortunately it doesn't work like this. You just take everything away, make everything for free, and then put in some cosmetics, and bam, you get just the same result. It just doesn't work like that. We're going gradual, step by step. We're adding a lot more cosmetic options to see how that performs. But we also must say that it basically also very dependent on how the players react. If you guys decide, oh cool, that I would really pick things that look awesome and try to acquire them somehow, try to purchase them, and that's what we will see is as there is more and more people choosing to buy some cosmetic stuff. For us it will be a good indication, okay, we are going in the right direction, and we can look into many of other systems so that we don't have to we can really easily rework some of the things and make them more accessible, because we now have a very reliable source that is cosmetic. But now we are in process of experimentation, and we are in process of adding more stuff, and we basically that's where we need your reaction, not only your opinion but your choices that you make in game, and say, okay, I go for this one because I like it, because it looks awesome and I want to have it. Or, well, I heard also some opinions on Discord that people were saying that, well, nobody needs cosmetics, we need stuff, we want to pay for power, and that goes exactly opposite the idea that we had, and we basically thought that we want to make game more fair, we want to make it more accessible in the mechanic part, and what we want to make sure that people have a lot of options and a lot of opportunities to express themselves with cosmetic options that we offer. But we hear different voices, and basically the strategy moving forward will be determined by you. So that's where this player influence comes in. We'll see.
Definitely. And I think it's always good, there are very big examples of very successful free-to-play games that monetize purely on cosmetics, but they have, like, some of the biggest titles have such a large player base that just that sheer volume of players makes it okay to just monetize on cosmetic skins. And well, we're trying to get there.
Well, what
working
we
on
need to understand is that we are dealing with a lot of systems that were created throughout the project's history, and those systems are something that many of us have inherited. Just as, like, when I joined the project, there were a lot of stuff already working and already somehow designed and done. And basically, like, working with legacy stuff is especially challenging because you have to understand how the system works and why it works, and then you can understand, okay, how can I change it? And is it risky, and is going to break anything?
Yeah.
So for us, it's like it's not something that we can say, you know what, in half a year we'll become this totally, like, fair and so on. It's something that we gradually go forward. We do sales, we lower prices, we discount stuff every now and then, we offer new kind of, like, more, we offer better bargains, we offer things that are just cheaper and more effective and so on. So we are basically going forward to say, okay, we want to make sure that more and more people can afford something, and more people can access the high level content, as we do with our recent things like, I don't know, Galaxy Gate bonus days, where we expose the super high level equipment a lot better, and a lot more players have a chance to collect that stuff better and join this, like, elite club of ultra full elite players, and create more competition on that kind of, like, on that level of gameplay. But we're also looking forward to see that our efforts in terms of enhancing the ways that you can express yourself are paying off, by that players are actually actively choosing to go for it and say, okay, I want this, it looks awesome, I want this.
Wonderful. Okay, so just to quickly tackle all of the server merge questions, if you look just below the screen, like just down there, just even below this window, there's a FAQ section, and there's a thing about server merge. Please read it, and once you're done reading it, read it again, and then read it again. We would like to do everything that you ask us of, but it's not that simple. So please just read the thing below. Thank you so much.
Well, at some point we can do a recap of our session that we had sometime in the past, that we basically go through that briefly again. But I really encourage you to go and watch our Twitch stream that was on this specific topic, because, to be honest, nothing changed since then in terms of, like, we still have to consider a lot of stuff, and the stuff that we listed there is still on the table. So we are going through that, as I said, we are making progress, but the volume of considerations is still the same. We haven't discovered anything new, we haven't discovered any magic pill in these several months. So if you rewatch that stream, you will have a better idea of how many different angles this problem has.
Yeah. All right, moving on. There are
questions.
So many
Give us
questions. Oh my god. Let's continue on with where we also get a 5v5 arena. The map is there. Is all I can say.
So as I said, that's something that we are looking in actively right now. There are several different topics that we have discussed in this regard, and I guess this question was also raised on Discord by some players. They suggested, why don't we go and do a cross-server team deathmatch, for instance, which is not exactly 5v5, but is basically is going in the same direction. And while we generally kind of, like, are not happy about the questions that start with, why don't you just do stuff, but in this case it's a very, very legit question, and we actually are looking into that specific topic. 5v5 arena or team deathmatch or similar stuff, that is something that is on our, like, currently in process of being discussed, and we are looking how can we do that exactly, and what would it imply, how that matchmaking would work, and so on. But in general, that's something that we are looking forward to, I think at some point in the future we will bring up this topic specifically on Twitch once we have developed sort of a plan of how and what are we exactly doing. As I said, currently we are basically evaluating different approaches, and we are looking at specific things, saying, okay, if we do this 5v5 arena, what would it require, what would we as design, for instance, what would we require from development so that it works properly? Like it has to be a chat, or does it need a chat? Does it need a achievement system? Does it need some quests? Should the quests register there? And so on. So all this stuff has to be answered, and when it's answered, we have to evaluate how hard it is, and then we can decide when it can be done and how, and and then we can share more information with you, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, and also if you really want to see 5v5 gameplay, at the end of this month, starting June 23rd, is it June? I think it's June, right? Yes. I don't know what month we're living in. It's all a rush. We are having the European Team Cup 2016. Go to our Facebook, go to our Twitter, go to your local language forums, and you can find announcements there. Like 2 hours ago we posted it, and yeah, you can participate. Just look if your country already has a team, and yeah, just follow the steps in the guide if you want to participate. It's gonna be cool. We're basically gonna make our own Euro Cup.
Yes.
Kind of 12 teams battling it out, and the rewards are actually kind of cool.
Yeah, we hope that will generate some interest, and we also will have more understanding on how interested our players are in such stuff. So if we find that this generates a lot of excitement, it will be an extra argument to rush and to basically push for similar features that would be introduced already, in the game.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's continue on. Will there be a Galaxy Gate event this weekend?
Log in and check.
Yes, the weekend is still 2 days ahead, which is a long time for
There
us.
is stuff that might happen or might not.
Who knows?
That's I like these things to be a surprise, and well, since we are basically deciding it, that will be a surprise. Make sure you log in and check it out.
Yes. Okay, I don't know what this question is about. It just says, is the chicken for real or a joke?
It's a joke. I know what it's
What is
about.
the okay?
So
what is the chicken?
I guess
Explain it.
there was a video made by one of our, I think Terra Legend made it.
Uh-huh.
There was a video about some specific skills in Mimesis, and one specific skill allows you to disguise as something that you have selected. So you can disguise as Lord Akia, for instance, or something like that. And while it was in development, this video was shot while it was in development. That means that we have a turkey. It's not a chicken, actually. It's turkey is a placeholder for some things that we that the server can't find. While it was in production, it looked like it, but it will not stay the same. You will actually turn into things. But important note: if you have somehow selected a chicken, you will turn into that chicken. That's important to note.
I want to have a chicken. That's amazing. All right. Compensation. That's a great question. We have plans for compensation, don't we?
Yes. So we have, as I said several times on Discord and here, we had to make sure that everything that was the most problems, or the biggest issues that were kind of piling up throughout several weeks, were fixed. Now we are in that situation, and I must say that we have already discussed the plan, and we will be able to share the plan once we determine the amount of effort that goes into. So basically, currently that is in our official planning management system. That is basically saying, okay, who is doing what, how much time it would take, and so on. Once we validate this, against all our other stuff, and once we validate this against like how much time do we need to spend on this specific part of the compensation, we will be able to communicate this plan like specifically and saying like, okay, this is what is going to happen, because in process of this evaluation we can find that some specific things that we have requested as a compensation are just too hard to do, as like too hard to algorithmize and automate. So we are now in process, like we have like designers and came up with, okay, we can do this to make sure that we compensate everybody properly. Now there is a moment of tech evaluation saying, okay, this is a great idea, but it's not doable because reasons. If that happens, we'll rethink it. Once we all agree upon what are we doing and when and how, then we can share it with you. But yeah, it's basically like currently is one of the things that I think pretty straightforwardly say it is currently in progress.
Yes.
It's being kind of like looked in now. Our part, like design part, is already done. We already came up with a bunch of ideas how we can do what we can do for specific groups of players. Now it's being evaluated by the tech team.
We have not forgotten any of you.
No,
whether
no,
you had issues with the hardest gate, whether your account was locked because you were lost somewhere in the depth of Kuiper Gate, whether your ships have disappeared, whether your drones were damaged, you're all still on the list. We're gonna make the compensation happen, but it's happening right now.
Unfortunately, in this case, we had a very compressed timeline when a lot of different, completely separate things just happened at the same time.
Yeah.
That's why we take that's why it takes us so much time to do this, because normally if something goes wrong, it's pretty straightforward and we can determine who suffered very fast and we can basically determine some kind of a compensation. In this case, there are a lot of different separate issues. Each issue has its own severity and kind of like impact and so on. So we have to cover all that somehow, and we want also to be fair and to make sure that everybody is satisfied and happy. I can understand, of course, like not completely happy because things were broken, but at least we want to make sure that the severity of issue will be reflected in the compensation that people get. So yeah.
All right, continuing on. So I guess the question is, what do you think about the idea of a thing where you pay £2 and your Skylab produces all the SEPROM twice as fast? Like a Skylab booster, I guess.
Let's just say Skylab is something that we are not completely happy with. Like it's a kind of like a common topic, and most of the designers on my team are like, we don't like it. It's not the top of our list currently, but in general, we would like to see Skylab to be more like, firstly, we wanted to present some meaningful choices. So you can actually decide, okay, I do this or I do that and so on. We want it to be more engaging and more useful, because currently it's basically like it's a SEPROM generator. It doesn't generate SEPROM fast enough so that players don't have the ability to basically feed all their SEPROM needs, and there is a lot of kind of like trying to optimize and cheat and so on, a lot of like that stuff going on. And also when you get SEPROM, there is no opportunity to manage it more precisely, because once you have upgraded your lasers with SEPROM, it's just there and you spend it and there is no way to save it if you want and so on. So you produce it in some quantity that is not enough, and you cannot actually regulate how fast you spend it if you upgrade your lasers automatically, or if you put all the SEPROM that you get straight to, I don't know, rockets, lasers and stuff like that. So we want to look at both of these sides, and ideas like this, oh, let's produce SEPROM twice as fast, or let's just do more SEPROM there, or let's just have a choice of I either produce SEPROM or I produce something else. All these questions are super valid, and I guess at some point, maybe even this year, when we are or closer to like autumn or something like that, has to be decided. But maybe at some point we'll even go forward, like we, I mean design team, will go forward to the players in Discord or on the forums or even on Twitch and say, hey, here is what we think about Skylab, here is what we think should be changed, here is what we think how it will work better and more interesting. And we'll, we'll engage in the same kind of conversation. So I just want to point out that the idea goes in the right direction, but I would say we need a more systemic solution to the general problem that Skylab is just not satisfying enough. That's something that we have to solve.
Okay. Okay, let's try to make some... I'm gonna pick out some quick-fire questions. Let's see if you can answer them in 5
Blitz.
sentences or less.
Let's see.
Okay, why are we not showing the drop rates for special rewards on all gates?
I get, well, that question was already asked. We just need to, I didn't get to that since the question was asked. We need to review that, and I can't think of a valid reason. There might have been some considerations in the past for that, but basically we want to look at it and see, because I think there might be just a legacy thing that we used to do it in a certain way, but as I said, we need to look at this, and if we see that there is no valid reason for that, we will just see how it can be more better exposed.
Yeah, good. I think that was less than 5, maybe. I don't know.
No.
Let's see. Do we have plans for the summer?
Vacation!
Wonderful, that's a good answer. Yes, we have plans for the summer.
If you mean for the game, obviously, but again, follow us everywhere and you will learn it first.
Yes.
There is a lot of exciting stuff coming up in summer.
Any plans on adding new maps or NPCs to the game in the near future?
It depends on what do you mean by near future. So tomorrow?
Let's say 2016.
Tomorrow, probably not. It's hard to say for 2016, to be honest, because we are now kind of like in process of reviewing our plans for the second half of the year. We can figure out that, oh, actually that's something that we should do. We know that there were a lot of questions regarding like, oh, we need more content, like in general, like well, we want more Galaxy Gates, we want more maps, new NPCs, we want new PvP action as well. That was something that mentioned on Discord several times in the last day as a thing that we might raise on Twitch. Yes, I said, yeah, we are looking into PvP stuff specifically now, but yeah, I can't say that we have like, yeah, there is a definite plan to do something like that and starts tomorrow. But we are listening to these questions and this feedback, and we are reviewing our plans for the second half of the year. And once we have a determination of to commit to something like that, like, okay, we have a definite date, at least when we start working on this, in the development, I mean, because design is working on all sorts of stuff, and that stuff is also something that we do every now and then and look into how do we add new things to the game. But we are now focused more on the things like tools that would allow us designers to do more things like that, like new maps and things. So for now, it's hard to say if the 2016 is like a valid time frame where we can say, yeah, we were adding something like that. But I must say that that's something that we are looking into as well, and once we have the timeline, we will share it with you. As I said, as I've said many times before, with such a big amount of different, completely kind of like not very connected topics that we have to deal with, we always have to pick and choose something that we feel will have the biggest impact, or will have the most the biggest impact on majority of the players. So in this case, yeah, we will just have to see when it becomes like the top of the priority, but generally we are looking into stuff like that.
Yes. So as always, very soon, but we first have to figure out the priorities. What about bonus codes? Yes, I agree. We're gonna have bonus codes. on the Twitch stream, definitely.
We're
We're gonna start with some
yeah.
usual giveaways, but I also have a kind of cool thingy in the planning, but it's not yet
Even,
ready.
even,
to
even though
be
we think that
presented.
watching us talk is already an entertaining experience,
Yes,
we want to make it even more fun and start giving away free stuff. So
and everybody loves free stuff. I mean, I love free stuff, so. But I don't get to use the bonus codes. Let's see. Will you create a DarkOrbit downloadable version? Quick answer.
it might happen at some point. So I guess it goes in the direction of client, and that's something that we are looking into on the tech side. I can't share any specifics. It might even be like we end up experimenting and determine that it's just not working for our game, but that's something that we are exploring.
So there's a very clear maybe.
Clear maybe, yeah. I mean, for some things I can say no, definitely not. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, or we don't know yet. But for this thing, is actually something that we are experimenting and trying to see how valuable or how doable it is for us. So yeah.
Yes. Could you add the ability to turn off boosters? Currently we must go offline every time when we are not fighting to not waste booster time.
That's something that is basically is again it's a good idea that goes in the direction of we want more control over boosters in general, and boosters can be more flexible. There are several ways to attack this, and we are basically considering one of the other things that might come in the near future, and that near future might be might be basically like this year or even like earlier than December and so on. But again, no promises. It's just like something that we are looking into. We are thinking about making boosters more flexible in terms of like now you can buy 10 hours of boosters and that's it, and that's just ticking. What we are thinking is an ability to start acquiring minutes, so that if you basically don't do anything specific, you don't have boosters, then you basically get, I don't know, 30 minutes and you are farming and killing NPCs or whatever, and then the half an hour passes and then you spend some time in your inventory and so on. So it's basically like another way to do that. Basically, like, I don't know, another approach to the same issue, but it feels, for now, it feels that approach is a bit easier for us to implement. So again, tell us what you think. Will be very interesting. Stopping boosters is a lot more complex than just allowing you to regulate how much booster time you store up.
Yeah.
So that's something that that's a very valid concern.
Alright, will Tunnel of Terror gates come back?
Well,
That seems to be before my time. What is it?
the Tunnel of Terror was awesome gate that we introduced for Halloween, and it was really a tunnel of terror. It was really painful, and I didn't finish it myself.
Okay.
But I know people who like. I know players did, and in the end of the gate, there is a very specific cool reward. We are now starting to look into our plans for the last end of the year events, and Halloween. Obviously, it was part of Halloween, so Halloween is on the list.
Nice.
And when we will be able to share more, but I really love that gate to come back, because it was like a very, very powerful love and hate relationship. I think it was most love-hate feature that we introduced, and so because it was so painful but rewarding, but painful, but come on, but whatever. So
it was kind of the Dark Souls gate.
Well, yeah, it was
DarkOrbit.
basically like you go through the gate, and the further you go, the harder it gets, and it's like it gets in very hard, but the rewards are also nice. So and some high-level players really enjoyed going through the whole gate, and there was specific challenges to see who can make it faster on the fastest.
I see.
What we would like to iterate upon is just to make sure that maybe we expose that rating better, that we know that, okay, there are some people who play half the gate and still get some rewards like me, or there are super powerful players that power through the gate and they basically compete already on how fast they do that, and they compete to other players with a similar strength.
Yeah, I see. Well, that seems cool. Well then, Halloween is my favorite time of the year either way. So we'll get to it. What is at the top of your list? Since you mentioned that the Skylab thing is not on top of the list.
Well, currently we are, as I said, we are looking into the tools that would allow us to do a lot more, a lot faster. So that's basically one of the top priorities of the design. The other top priority of us is to make sure that there is a lot more interesting events coming in the second half of the year. And the third thing is we are looking into all sorts cross-server that I've said. We have recently finished another stage of kind of like design for that. We were looking into cross-server battlegrounds. The next step is looking into some cross-server zone solutions, and then we'll be evaluating it together with all the other parts of our team to see what works best for us and what in which order we could do that, and so on. So those are top 3 things that my team, like design team, is currently working on. But there is also a lot of different smaller stuff that is happening and that is requested by other parts of the team and so on. So that's like top 3 are this. And if you want to know more, join us on Discord.
Yes. So the tools that you're inventing basically for your game design team, it's kind of like you've been building by hand up until now, and now you're inventing a hammer. Is that how it is?
Well, I would say we are inventing a whole box of, it's like a hammer, the screwdriver, the wrench, and stuff like that. So we want to be less dependent on our developers to help us with some content production, and we want to make sure that like these are basically like killing several birds with one stone. Allowing us to work with content would allow us to create more interesting stuff faster, and will also free up the developer capacity to do some strange and some complex things like cross-server things or whatever else was mentioned, because we want to make sure that the development part, the tech part, is concentrated on actually doing on refactorings, on basically technical stability, on and on new features, and the content, the stuff that you can play with, the new NPCs, the galaxy gates, some maps, maybe like seasons in the Ultimate Battle Arena, assembly rests, stuff like that is handled by design team. That means it's working faster, iterated upon faster, and we can do a lot more cool stuff without actually taking up the developer capacity that can be spent elsewhere.
Yeah, that's a good explanation, I think. Okay, 2 minutes to closing time, so get your last questions in now, and maybe we can...
Come on, I thought we had a lot of them. No more questions, guys?
We had some, but we had a lot of repeating questions, as
Well,
I've seen.
The question I'm seeing here, I don't know. Old school servers that has been asked repeatedly. Maybe we should also repeatedly say that this is something that we're just talking about, but nothing has been done yet.
Yeah, well, you could refer to our other Twitch stream, and also very fast, this is a thing that we are listening about mainly, and basically writing down everything that we hear, all different opinions and such. That problem is complex, and it's even more complex, I guess, than anything we have discussed so far.
It's more something like for the bottom of the list of things that we have to
and
tackle
unfortunately at this point is quite low, because again we have no clear idea of what players really want and what will work for the project the best. So we are now gathering your feedback, we are listening, so if you have ideas, submit them, we'll look into it, and yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Content for the next Twitch stream in 2 weeks. So 2 weeks is a very long time in game development.
if
don't
like
know.
as I said, we get suggestions for topics every now and then. There is a lot of things that players have raised we might want to discuss, but also we will try to make sure that that is the most pressing, most up-to-date topic. In 2 weeks something might happen. We might want to introduce you to some new idea that we have, or show off some new stuff that we are doing, or I don't know, explain some big topic that suddenly came up in all the forums. So yeah, it's hard to say for now. Submit your ideas.
Yes. And yeah, since this is basically the end, again, make sure to join us on our social media networks, Twitter, Facebook. I guess Google Plus is a thing that you could use. Of Kontaktje if you're from Russia, or
Yeah, I don't know if
participating
that's like,
countries.
do we have an official group there?
I don't know, do we?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't know of it.
No.
But
I
there
know
is
there
a
is official,
DarkOrbit.
several unofficial groups, but
I see, okay. Well, you can find us. And Discord, down below, box, there's the Discord link. Just click it. You don't need to download anything. It's just a browser. And you can chat with us, and we're the coolest people ever, because, you know,
yeah,
Sergey
it's
and
like,
I and Jörg are on the
that,
server.
this,
So.
this is like this is all you get, guys. It's
Yeah.
like most talking from development side is done by us and by some of the members of design team, and also some of the developers. But again, it is a very nice channel of
Yes.
open, direct communication, as long as you don't use swear words.
Yes,
that's
then you're gonna
Yeah.
get kicked. Alright, so I guess that's it. Thank you everybody for joining. Has been lovely as always. And we will see you in exactly 2 weeks, which is the 29th of June.
Until then, ciao.
Yeah.
Just keep waving and
Okay.
laughing. Goodbye.
Second.
Goodbye. Come on,
Go
Jörg.
away.